Admiral John Hayes stood tall on the command deck of Earth's orbital defense station. His weathered face reflected years of service to humanity. The main view screen showed a small dot moving against the starfield. It was approaching from the edge of the solar system. "Magnify that object," Hayes ordered, his voice calm but firm. The screen zoomed in, revealing the sleek metallic hull of a Galactic Empire scout ship. Its distinctive wing configuration and purple energy signature were unmistakable. The vessel moved with purpose, clearly on a direct course for Earth. "Sir, they haven't responded to our hailing signals," reported Lieutenant Maria Garcia from the communication station. Her fingers moved quickly across the console. "This is the third Imperial vessel this month to enter our space without authorization." Hayes nodded, his jaw tightening. Just last year, Earth had discovered the truth. The Galactic Empire had been secretly mining valuable minerals from the asteroid belt and outer planets for decades. When confronted, the Empire dismissed Earth's concerns, claiming the solar system as part of their territory. That's when Earth made its declaration of independence. "Open a channel, all frequencies," Hayes said. "Channel open, sir." Hayes straightened his uniform and spoke clearly. "Imperial vessel, this is Earth Defense Station Alpha. You have entered sovereign Earth space without permission. Reverse course immediately." Seconds passed with no response. The scout ship continued its approach. "They're ignoring us, sir," Garcia said. Hayes exchanged glances with his second-in-command, Commander Ben Wilson. They had expected this. The Empire never took smaller worlds seriously. "Power up the pulse cannon. Target their propulsion systems only," Hayes ordered. The weapons officer, Jack Palmer, looked up in surprise. "Sir, are you sure? This could be seen as an act of war." "The war already started when they stole from us," Hayes replied. "They need to understand we're serious. Fire when ready." Palmer nodded and entered the targeting sequence. The station hummed as energy built up in its weapons array. Aboard the Imperial scout ship, Captain Voxtall sat confidently in his command chair. His gray skin and elongated features showed mild amusement as his crew reported Earth's warnings. "These humans are always so dramatic," Voxtall said to his pilot. "The Emperor has designated this system as Imperial territory. Their primitive defenses are no threat to us." Suddenly, a warning alarm blared through the ship. The sensor officer shouted, "Energy buildup detected. Unknown weapon type." Voxtall rose from his chair. "Impossible. Earth doesn't have." A brilliant blue beam shot from the Earth station, striking the scout ship with precision. The vessel shuddered violently as its engines went dark. Emergency lights flickered on. "Status report," Voxtall demanded. "Propulsion systems offline," his engineer reported, disbelief in his voice. "Power fluctuating. Whatever they hit us with, it bypassed our shields completely." Back on the defense station, Hayes watched as the Imperial ship drifted, powerless but intact. "Send the message," he ordered Garcia. She nodded and pressed a series of buttons. The main screen displayed Earth's official declaration, which began broadcasting not just to the disabled ship, but across all known communication frequencies throughout nearby space. "From this day forward, Earth declares Sol System's sovereign territory. No Galactic Empire ships are permitted within our boundaries. Any Imperial vessel entering our space will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly. We will defend our independence with all necessary force." Hayes looked at the disabled scout ship on the screen. "Send a shuttle to tow them to the edge of the system once they've received our message. They can call for help from there." Wilson stepped closer. "The Empire won't take this lightly, sir." "I know," Hayes replied, watching the stars beyond the floating Imperial ship. "But it's time they learned Earth isn't just another world to exploit. We've been developing our technology in secret for years. Today is just the warning shot." As the message continued broadcasting throughout the galaxy, Hayes knew there would be no turning back. Earth had just announced itself as a power to be reckoned with. Earth Ambassador Susan Miller walked into the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. The circular chamber rose several stories high, with thousands of seats arranged in rising tiers. Representatives from over 500 species filled the room. Susan felt small but refused to show it. The council chamber was located on Nexus Station, a massive space structure built at the intersection of 7 major trade routes. Susan had arrived only yesterday, summoned to answer for Earth's aggressive action against an Imperial vessel. The Council recognizes Earth Ambassador Susan Miller, announced the Chief Counselor, a tall being with blue-tinted skin and 4 arms. His voice echoed through the chamber. Susan stepped forward to the central platform. She wore a simple navy blue uniform with Earth's new symbol, a blue planet with a protective shield around it. Esteemed council members, she began, her voice steady despite her racing heart. I come before you today to defend Earth's Declaration of Independence and our right to protect our solar system. The Imperial representative, Lord Draz, immediately rose from his seat. His red robes swirled around him as he pointed an accusing finger. The human delegation has committed an act of war. Lord Draz shouted. They attacked an Imperial research vessel on a peaceful mission. They have declared restrictions against Empire movements in what is clearly Imperial space. We demand immediate sanctions. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Susan waited for them to quiet before responding. With respect to the Council, and even to Lord Draz, she said, I would like to present evidence that may clarify the situation. She activated her datapad. The central holographic display came to life, showing images captured by Earth's deep space telescopes. These are recordings of Imperial mining operations in our asteroid belt over the past 5 years, Susan explained. Operations conducted without Earth's knowledge or permission. The images showed Imperial ships extracting rare minerals from asteroids. More images appeared, secret Imperial bases on several moons of Jupiter and Saturn. The Empire has taken resources valued at over 12 billion credits, Susan continued. Resources that belong to Earth and its people. When we discovered these activities and asked for explanation, the Empire claimed our entire solar system as their territory. Lord Draz sputtered. These images are clearly fake. Earth lacks the technology to. The images have been verified by Galactic Central Archives, interrupted Chief Counselor. They appear authentic. Susan nodded her thanks. Earth does not seek conflict. We simply want recognition of our sovereignty and the right to control access to our own solar system. The Empire ship was warned multiple times before any action was taken. We disabled it without causing harm to its crew and ensured they returned safely to Empire space. The council chamber filled with discussion. Susan noticed several representatives from non-Empire worlds nodding in approval. After hours of debate, no conclusion was reached. The chief counselor finally spoke. The council will take time to consider this complex situation. Until a final ruling is made, Earth's declaration will remain in effect without council sanctions. As the session ended, Susan gathered her materials. A small green-skinned being approached her quietly. Ambassador Miller, the alien whispered, I am Zurina of the Thraxian Confederacy. Many of us are impressed by Earth's stand against the Empire. For too long, smaller worlds have suffered similar treatment. Thank you, Susan replied, surprised. Be careful, Zurina warned. The Empire does not accept defiance. They will not attack directly now, but they will find other ways to bring Earth back under control. Susan nodded. Earth understands the risk, but we believe freedom is worth it. Walking back to her quarters, Susan received messages from 7 other species requesting private meetings. Perhaps Earth wasn't as alone as she had feared. The diplomatic battle had just begun, but for the first time, she felt genuine hope. 2 weeks after the Galactic Council meeting, Earth's long-range sensors detected a fleet of ships entering the outer solar system. They positioned themselves just beyond Earth's declared boundary. Admiral Hayes called an emergency meeting at Earth Defense Headquarters. They're calling it a diplomatic flotilla, Hayes said, pointing to the holographic display showing 27 Imperial vessels arranged in a half-circle. The Empire claims they're there to ensure peaceful negotiations while the Council deliberates. Alan Wright, Earth's lead scientist for space defense, studied the display closely. His eyes narrowed behind his glasses as he adjusted the sensor readings. "This isn't just a show of force," Wright said. "Look at these energy signatures. The ship in the center isn't a warship or diplomatic vessel. It's putting out irregular radiation patterns consistent with a weapons platform in disguise." Hayes zoomed in on the central ship. "Can you be certain?" "I'd stake my career on it," Wright replied. "They're building something out there, piece by piece. My guess is they're assembling a jump gate or long-range weapon while pretending to be peacefully waiting." Lieutenant Kate Daniels stepped forward. She headed Earth's Special Operations Team and had a reputation for getting into and out of impossible situations. "Admiral, let me take a small team to investigate," she suggested. "Our new stealth shuttle can slip past their sensor grid if we time it right." Hayes considered the request. "It's risky. If they catch you, it could give them the excuse they need to attack. And if they're building a weapon that can hit Earth, we need to know," Daniels countered. After a moment, Hayes nodded. "You have 48 hours. Get in, find out what they're doing, and get out without being detected." That night, Lieutenant Daniels and 3 elite operatives boarded the stealth shuttle Dark Star. Earth had developed the technology in secret over the past decade. The ship absorbed rather than reflected scanning beams, making it nearly invisible to standard detection systems. "Remember, this is reconnaissance only," Daniels told her team as they approached the Imperial blockade. "No weapons unless absolutely necessary." They slipped between 2 Imperial patrol ships, their engines running silent. As they neared the central vessel, Daniels noted its unusual construction. It was massive but had numerous open sections where components seemed to be missing. "They're definitely building something," whispered Sam Rivera, her communications specialist. "Look at those connection ports. They're designed for modular assembly." Daniels guided the shuttle into a maintenance dock that showed minimal activity. Her team exited wearing specialized suits that blocked life sign detection. They moved through the Imperial ship like ghosts, placing tiny surveillance devices at key junctions. In the central command room, Daniels accessed a computer terminal while Rivera kept watch. She downloaded files while scanning for any information about the ship's purpose. "Got something," she whispered. "Fleet deployment orders. They're planning a full invasion. 30 days from now, once their weapon is operational." A door slid open unexpectedly. Daniels and Rivera pressed themselves against a wall as 2 Imperial officers walked in. "The jump gate will be ready in 20 days, one officer said. "Once operational, we can bring in the main battle fleet directly. These humans need to learn their place." "The Emperor is personally interested in this case," the other replied. "Earth has technologies we haven't seen before. He wants their defense capabilities studied and replicated." After the officers left, Daniels signaled her team to retreat. They returned to their shuttle undetected and slipped away from the Imperial blockade. Back on Earth, Admiral Hayes reviewed the information Daniels had gathered. The evidence was clear. The Empire wasn't waiting for diplomatic solutions. They were preparing for war. "We have 30 days to prepare," Hayes told Earth's Defense Council. "They think they're studying us, but they don't realize how much we've learned about them." "What's our next move?" asked President Clark. Hayes looked at the gathered leaders. "We need allies. We can't fight the entire Empire alone." Ambassador Susan Miller worked quickly. With only 28 days remaining before the Empire's planned invasion, she had no time to waste. Her diplomatic shuttle docked at the neutral trading station Orion 5, a massive space facility where species from across the galaxy came to do business away from Imperial oversight. Susan walked through crowded markets filled with exotic goods and strange beings. Following encrypted directions, she entered a small, dimly lit meeting room in the station's lower levels. 2 different alien species waited for her. The first were the Caldorians, insect-like beings with iridescent exoskeletons and compound eyes. Their representative, Ziktal, clicked his mandibles in greeting. The second species were the Viridians, humanoid beings with pale green skin and bald heads covered in intricate patterns. Their ambassador, Neri, bowed politely. "Thank you for meeting with me," Susan said, sitting at the round table between them. "Earth faces an imminent threat from the Galactic Empire." Ziktal's antenna twitched. "Many worlds face imperial threats. Why should we risk our people for yours?" Susan activated a holographic projector showing the data Lieutenant Daniels had recovered. "This invasion force is just the beginning," she explained. "Our intelligence suggests the Empire is using Earth as a test case. If they can crush our independence, they'll move against other systems that have shown signs of resistance." Neri leaned forward. "The Viridian Republic is not strong militarily. We've survived by appearing useful to the Empire through our trade networks." "Which is exactly what we need," Susan replied. "The Empire's strength comes from isolation, keeping resistant worlds from communicating with each other. Your communication networks could help unite those who want freedom." Ziktal clicked thoughtfully. "The Kaldorians have advanced biotechnology. We've developed defenses against Imperial weapons, but we lack the resources to stand alone." "Earth doesn't ask you to stand alone," Susan said. "We're proposing an alliance, each world contributing its strengths. Together, we might have a chance." The aliens exchanged glances. Susan knew she was asking for something dangerous. Open resistance against the Empire rarely ended well. "What does Earth bring to this alliance?" Neri asked. "Technologies the Empire hasn't seen before," Susan answered, "and a strategic position. If we can hold the Sol system, we create a safe zone between your territories." After hours of discussion, both representatives agreed to meet with Earth's military leadership. 3 days later, they gathered at Mars Base Alpha, Earth's main military installation on the Red Planet. Admiral Hayes led the visitors through a secure facility deep beneath the Martian surface. He showed them Earth's defense capabilities, including the pulse weapons that had disabled the Imperial scout ship. "Your technology is impressive," Ziktal admitted, "but the Empire has thousands of warships. We don't need to defeat their entire fleet," Hayes explained. "We just need to make the cost of attacking us too high." The representatives shared their own capabilities. The Kaldorians offered bioengineered shields that could absorb energy weapons. The Viridians provided access to their vast information network spanning hundreds of worlds. By the end of the day, Hayes, Susan, and the alien representatives stood before a digital map of the galaxy. Hayes marked their 3 systems with blue lights in contrast to the red glow of Imperial territory surrounding them. "If we stand together," Hayes said, "others will join us. The Empire maintains control through fear. Once worlds see resistance as possible, everything changes." Ziktal placed his clawed hand on the table. "The Kaldorians will fight with Earth." Neri added her hand to his. "The Viridian Republic stands with you as well." Susan completed the circle with her own hand. "Then today we form the Free Systems Alliance, not to conquer, but to defend the right of all worlds to determine their own futures." As the new allies discussed strategy, encrypted messages traveled through Viridian networks to other potential allies. The alliance was small, but it had something powerful: hope. And they had 25 days to prepare before the Empire made its move. Engineer Paul Martinez guided Admiral Hayes and the Alliance representatives through the secret facility beneath Earth's Mojave Desert. The group stopped before a spherical object about the size of a small car. Its surface gleamed with a blue-black metal that seemed to absorb light. "This is our countermove against the Empire," Martin said, pride evident in his voice. "We call it the Quantum Defense Platform." Ziktal of the Kaldorians studied the device with his compound eyes. "It appears small for a defense system." Martinez smiled. "Size isn't everything, especially when it comes to quantum technology." He activated a control panel, causing a holographic display to appear above the platform. For years, Earth has been developing technology based on quantum entanglement. These platforms can communicate instantaneously across any distance because their particles are connected at the quantum level. Hayes pointed to the hologram showing the solar system. We've already deployed 50 of these platforms throughout our system. They're completely autonomous and virtually undetectable. How does this help against an Imperial fleet? Asked Neri of the Viridians. Martinez touched the sphere's surface. Each platform contains 3 systems. First, advanced sensors that can detect ships even through stealth fields. Second, a quantum communication array that instantly alerts all other platforms. And third, a defense matrix that can project an energy field capable of immobilizing any ship within range. Immobilizing. Ziktal clicked his mandibles. Not destroying. We prefer not to start with destruction, Hayes explained. These platforms create a net. Once an unauthorized ship enters our system, the nearest platform detects it, and all others respond. They create an energy web that disables propulsion and weapons systems. Neri looked impressed. And because they use quantum entanglement, there's no way to jam their communications or track their signals. Exactly, Martine said. The Empire's technology relies on conventional communication methods with light speed delays. Our platforms have no such limitation. A lieutenant rushed into the room and saluted Hayes. Admiral, the Imperial fleet is on the move. They've crossed the boundary into Sol's system. Hayes nodded calmly. Earlier than expected. They must have completed their jump gate. He turned to his allies. It's time to see if our defense works as planned. In the command center, they watched as the Imperial invasion force moved toward Earth. Nearly 100 warships formed a wedge formation, with a massive Imperial flagship at its center. Platforms detecting Imperial signatures, reported a technician. All systems active. Hayes opened a communication channel to the Imperial fleet. Attention Imperial forces. You have entered Earth sovereign space against our explicit declaration. Reverse course immediately. The screen flickered, showing the stern face of Imperial Commander Greknar. His gray skin was marked with the red tattoos of a high-ranking military leader. Earth has no authority to issue declarations, Greknar said. Your planet belongs to the Empire. Surrender now or face annihilation. Hayes looked at Martinez, who nodded. Commander, I'm giving you one final chance to withdraw your forces peacefully. Greknar laughed. Your primitive weapons cannot harm an Imperial fleet. Your defense is futile. We'll see about that, Hayes said quietly as he cut the transmission. He turned to Martinez. Activate the platforms. Martinez entered a command code. Throughout the solar system, the quantum defense platforms activated simultaneously. Invisible energy fields expanded from each one, connecting to create a vast web. On the screen, they watched as the Imperial ship suddenly slowed, then stopped completely. Emergency lights flickered across their hulls as their main power systems failed. All Imperial vessels immobilized, reported the technician. Their weapons and propulsion systems are offline. Hayes reopened the channel to the Imperial flagship, which was now drifting helplessly in space. Commander Greknar's face showed shock and fury. What have you done? The Imperial commander demanded. Demonstrated that Earth is not defenseless. Hayes replied calmly. Your ships are unharmed but powerless. You have 2 choices. Agree to leave our system peacefully when we release you, or remain trapped indefinitely. The decision is yours. As the Alliance members watched the stunned Imperial commander, Hayes allowed himself a small smile. The countermove had worked perfectly. Now the real test would begin. Commander Greknar's face twisted with rage on the view screen. His ship, like the rest of the Imperial fleet, hung motionless in space, caught in Earth's quantum web. This is some kind of trick, he snarled. No primitive world possesses such technology. Admiral Hayes stood firm. It's no trick, Commander. You have 10 minutes to agree to withdraw, or we will consider your silence as hostile intent. The communication ended as Greknar slammed his fist down. In the Earth Command Center, Hayes turned to his officers. "He won't retreat," Hayes said. "Prepare for their countermeasures." He was right. 9 minutes later, smaller vessels detached from the Imperial warships. These emergency craft weren't affected by the quantum web targeting larger ships. "They're launching attack shuttles," reported the sensor officer. "Hundreds of them, heading toward Earth and Mars." Hayes nodded. "Just as we expected. Captain Weber, you're up." Captain Lisa Weber commanded the EDF Defender, Earth's most advanced warship hidden behind the moon. Unlike traditional military vessels, the Defender was built for speed and precision rather than overwhelming firepower. "Defender moving to intercept," Weber confirmed. Her ship accelerated from its hiding place, engines glowing blue against the blackness of space. The Imperial shuttles were halfway to Earth when the Defender appeared among them. Weber's crew fired short, precise bursts from their pulse cannons, disabling shuttle after shuttle without destroying them. "Target their navigation systems only," Weber ordered her weapons team. "We want them disabled, not destroyed." On the Imperial flagship, Greknar watched in horror as his attack force was neutralized. But he had one more card to play. Several larger shuttles had broken through, carrying elite Imperial ground forces toward Earth's Antarctic region, where long-range scans had detected what appeared to be a control center for the defense platforms. These shuttles hit Earth's atmosphere, streaking toward the frozen continent below. Earth's defense batteries fired but couldn't stop them all. Colonel Frank Howard stood ready inside the Antarctic base with 200 Earth soldiers. Unlike the Empire's heavily armored troops, Earth forces wore lightweight exoskeletons that enhanced their natural abilities. "Remember your training," Howard told his people as the Imperial shuttles landed outside. "They rely on brute force. We use speed and coordination." The base doors exploded inward as Imperial soldiers stormed in. They were tall, heavily armored beings with energy weapons that scorched the walls. But Earth's soldiers moved with unexpected quickness, using the environment to their advantage. Howard led a squad that circled behind the Imperial forces. Their weapons fired sonic pulses that disrupted the enemy's communication systems and disoriented them. Other Earth soldiers used gravity manipulators to turn the Imperial troops' heavy armor against them. "They're too fast," shouted an Imperial officer as his forces fell into confusion. Meanwhile, in space, the Free Systems Alliance reinforcements arrived. Kaldorian bioships, looking like giant translucent insects, appeared near Mars. Viridian vessels, smaller but incredibly fast, darted between the disabled Imperial warships, attaching devices that further suppressed their systems. On the Defender, Captain Weber received a transmission from a Kaldorian ship. "Earth vessels, this is Hive Commander Zixnar. The Kaldorian fleet stands with you." Weber smiled. "Welcome to the party, Commander. We have Imperial shuttles at these coordinates that could use your attention." The battle turned decisively. Imperial forces, expecting an easy victory against a single planet, found themselves facing coordinated resistance from 3 different species, each with technologies they'd never encountered before. In Antarctica, Colonel Howard's forces had contained the Imperial landing party. The enemy soldiers, cut off from their command and facing unfamiliar tactics, finally surrendered. In orbit, Admiral Hayes once again contacted Commander Greknar. "Your ground assault has failed. Your fleet is immobilized. The Free Systems Alliance now controls this space. Your options are surrender or destruction." Greknar's face showed the impossible truth dawning on him. The mighty Imperial fleet had been defeated by a world they had dismissed as primitive. "This isn't over," Greknar said quietly, "but we will withdraw. For now." Hayes nodded. "A wise decision. We'll release your ships one by one after your troops are evacuated from Earth." As the battle ended, Earth had achieved something no one thought possible. They had stood against the Empire and won. The Imperial fleet limped away from Earth, their once proud warships showing visible damage from the battle. On the bridge of his flagship, Commander Greknar watched the blue planet shrink in the distance. His aide approached cautiously. "All ships have cleared Earth's space, Commander," the aide reported. Greknar's eyes narrowed. "Send a message to Imperial High Command. Tell them we need reinforcements. This isn't over." "Yes, Commander." The aide hesitated. "But the Emperor may not be pleased with our failure." "It wasn't a failure," Greknar said coldly. "It was intelligence gathering. Now we know what we face." He turned from the view screen. "Earth will pay for this humiliation. I swear it." Back on Earth, celebrations erupted across the planet. For the first time in centuries, a world had successfully stood against the Galactic Empire and won. News spread quickly through the Viridian communication network, reaching hundreds of planets within days. Admiral Hayes and Ambassador Miller stood on the observation deck of the Orbital Defense Station, looking down at the blue-green world below. "Reports are coming in from all over the galaxy," Miller said, reading from her datapad. 17 systems have already issued their own declarations of independence, using our exact wording. Hayes nodded. "The Empire can't fight on that many fronts at once. They'll have to choose their battles carefully now." "The Galactic Council has called an emergency session," Miller continued. "They're considering recognizing Earth and other independent systems officially." A week later, Earth hosted the first formal meeting of the Free Systems Alliance. Representatives from 23 worlds gathered in the newly constructed Alliance Hall in Geneva. The main chamber featured a circular table with each world's symbol projected above their seat. President Clark of Earth opened the session. "Friends and allies, what began as Earth's stand for independence has become something greater. Today we formalize the Free Systems Alliance not as a rival empire, but as a community of free worlds standing together." The Kaldorian representative, Ziktal, clicked his approval. "The Empire has ruled through division for too long. They convinced each world that resistance was impossible. Earth has proven otherwise." Neri of the Viridians added, "Our strength lies not in conquest, but in cooperation. Each world brings unique strengths. Together, we are more powerful than the Empire expects." The Alliance established its headquarters on Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. Engineers from multiple worlds worked together to build a facility beneath the moon's frozen surface. Within this secure base, they created the Alliance Strategic Command. Earth shared its quantum defense technology with its allies. The Kaldorians contributed their bioshields. The Viridians provided their unmatched communication systems. Other worlds offered resources, knowledge, and technologies previously kept secret from the Empire. 2 months after the battle for Sol, Admiral Hayes received Earth's highest honor in a ceremony attended by representatives from all Alliance worlds. Ambassador Miller stood beside him as President Clark placed the Medal of Unity around Hayes' neck. Admiral Hayes and Ambassador Miller didn't just defend Earth, President Clark said to the assembled crowd. They showed the galaxy a new way forward, not through conquest or submission, but through mutual respect and cooperation. Later that evening, Hayes and Miller walked through the memorial garden planted to honor those who had fallen during the battle. "The Empire will return," Hayes said quietly. "Greknar isn't the type to accept defeat." Miller nodded. "Yes, but they'll find a very different situation when they do. The galaxy is changing, John. Worlds that have been oppressed for centuries are finding their voice." "Do you think it will last?" Hayes asked. "This alliance?" Miller looked up at the stars visible through the garden's transparent dome. Among them were the home suns of their new allies. "It will if we remember why we fought in the first place," she answered. "Not for power or revenge, but for the right of every world to chart its own course." As they walked, messages continued to flow through the Alliance network. More worlds joining each day. More declarations of independence echoing Earth's original statement. A new paradigm was taking shape in the galaxy, sparked by a single world that had dared to say, "No Galactic Empire ships allowed." 6 months after Earth's victory, the Free Systems Alliance had grown to include 43 worlds. The Quantum Defense Network now protected a significant portion of the galaxy, creating safe zones where Imperial ships could not enter. In her new office on Europa, Ambassador Susan Miller reviewed reports from Alliance worlds. The latest message from the Viridian network caught her attention. Unusual Imperial fleet movements near the galaxy's core worlds. She called Admiral Hayes immediately. "John, you need to see this." Hayes arrived within the hour, his face showing concern. "What have you found?" Susan displayed a holographic map showing hundreds of Imperial warships gathering at strategic points. "They're not preparing to attack us directly. They're establishing blockades around resource-rich systems that haven't joined the Alliance." "Economic warfare," Hayes said, studying the map. "If they can't defeat us militarily, they'll try to starve us of essential materials." Engineer Paul Martinez joined them, bringing updated technical reports. "We have another problem. Our spies in Imperial Space report they're developing countermeasures against our quantum platforms. They've captured enough data during the battle to understand the basic principles." Hayes frowned. "How long before they can neutralize our advantage?" 3 months, maybe 4, Martins replied. "We need to evolve our technology faster than they can adapt." On the Imperial throne world, Commander Greknar knelt before Emperor Zolrath. The Emperor's chamber was vast and dark, with only the throne illuminated. "The rebels grow stronger each day, my Emperor," Greknar reported. "The blockades will slow them, but not stop them." Emperor Zolrath's voice echoed through the chamber. "You promised me Earth would fall easily. Your failure has inspired rebellion across my empire." "I underestimated them," Greknar admitted. "But I studied their technology. Give me command of the new fleet, and I will crush this alliance before it grows further." The Emperor leaned forward, his ancient face showing little emotion. "Very well. But remember, Greknar, there are no third chances in my service." Back on Europa, the Alliance Council gathered for an emergency session. Captain Lisa Weber, now promoted to fleet commander, presented a bold plan. "We can't wait for the Empire to attack again," she explained. "Our scouts have located their new technology development center on Proxus IV. If we strike now, we can set back their countermeasures program by years." Colonel Frank Howard, who had successfully defended Antarctica, voiced his support. "A surgical strike with a small team could work. My Special Forces unit can infiltrate their facility with Kaldorian stealth technology." Not everyone agreed. Some representatives feared provoking the Empire further. The debate lasted hours until Ambassador Miller stood to address the Council. "When Earth made its declaration, we knew it wasn't just about one planet," she said. "It was about changing how power works in this galaxy. The Empire has ruled through fear for thousands of years. They expect us to be afraid now, to huddle behind our defenses and wait for them to find our weakness." She walked around the table, making eye contact with each representative. "But that's not who we are. The Alliance was built on courage and innovation. If we wait, we give the Empire time to adapt. If we act boldly now, we show everyone in the galaxy that the old rules no longer apply." Her words swayed the Council. The mission was approved. As the representatives filed out, Hayes approached Miller. "That was quite a speech," he said. "You've become quite the revolutionary." Miller smiled. "I was a diplomat for 20 years before all this. I spent most of that time making small talk at Imperial functions, pretending humanity was content with its place. It feels good to finally speak the truth." As they looked out the viewport at Jupiter's massive form filling the sky above Europa, Hayes nodded. "The Empire has ruled for thousands of years. Changing that won't happen in a single battle." "No," Miller agreed, "but it will happen. One world at a time, one day at a time." Across the station, preparations for the strike mission began. The Alliance was young, but it was learning fast. A storm was rising across the galaxy, a storm of freedom that had begun with a simple declaration: no Galactic Empire ships allowed.